Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Danal. Back again with brother Azrael. Back again with another video, another Tuesday video, man. I hope you guys are having an extraordinary week. We kicked it off yesterday with our Feast of Tabernacles videos. Yes, I said videos, plural. We had two. If you guys missed them, go check them out. If you don't really know what the Feast of Tabernacles consists of, go check them out. To get a better understanding and build yourself up as you're learning this Bible. Right. Today we have a nice little lesson for you guys today. Hopefully it's edifying. It's going to be called, "What does it mean to be a nation?" What does it mean to be a nation? Right. First and foremost, we want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right. We do so by way of his only begotten son, who is an instrument of salvation for the nation. Right. And we reverence him in everything that we do. Shout out to the brother, the Bible Prince in the comments. Right. I don't know if he'll be scribing for us or brother Baruch will be scribing for us, but Lord willing, somebody will be scribing for us tonight. It shouldn't be a long one, but it should be a good one. Again, it shouldn't be a long one, but it should be a good one. I got a video for you guys today. Make it a little bit interesting. Some people might some people might hate me for this video. Other people, they can spit out the bones, right? The person that I'm about to share on the video on the screen has been a hot topic for the last couple weeks, man. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. No, I do not agree with most of his point of views at all, right? No, I don't really agree with him as a person. You know what I'm saying? Is it sad that kids had to lose their father? Yes, right. But does his death really affect me in my life? I can't really say that it does, right? We won't get into the politics of it all. We will share this video and listen to what he has to say on this topic of what it means to be a nation, because he said some valid things, right? I don't think he came up with this on his own per se, but I didn't really do my due diligence to research where he got this take on what it means to be a nation, right? I'm sure if you do a quick Google search, you might be able to find out where he's getting this concept from, but nonetheless, it's good stuff. So I'm gonna share it, right? Yes, if you didn't guess already, man, I'm definitely talking about Carly Church. Carly Church, right? I don't know if I'm gonna get flagged for saying his name or not, so I'm gonna say it like that, right? Fair use. We do not own the rights to this video, but we are gonna play it. Fair use. Y'all got you guys let me know if you can hear it as well. Right.
We must then articulate, what does it mean to be a nation? In English, it is the 3 P's. It is people, it is principles, and it is place. You remove one of the 3, you'll start to disappear. Remove 2 out of 3, you're basically gone. 3 out of 3, you don't exist. So let's play this out. First of which is people. This is the most obvious. If all of a sudden Japan became all Muslim from Saudi Arabia, it wouldn't be Japan. But let's also talk about place.
Fun fact too, man, if you don't know, the Japanese people actually weren't the original people in that land, right? They actually colonized it to become to what it is today. But what he's saying here for the first thing is people, right? If you remove the people from a certain place, right, that starts the breaking of a nation, right? If you remove a people. So we're talking about right here at its lamest terms, people migrations, right?
All of a sudden, we took the entire population of Japan and put you on Madagascar. Is that Japan? No, it's something else.
And so he says, if we take the people and we put them in a different place, would that still be considered Japan? He said, no, it would be considered something else. Again, going to people migrations, right?
That's not the place that your ancestors are buried. That's not the place that you love. That's not the place with the shrines that you take seriously. So place really matters, but also principles. And don't forget the principles part. America is a principle nation alongside the other 2. What are the ethics, duty, the culture, and the history. The globalists seek to remove all three. They don't want you to live in your land anymore. They don't want the people to be there, and they want to change the principles of what it means to be in Japan. If you can articulate those three things, we can better then coordinate and harmonize our shared objectives against the globalist. Its place, its people, and its principles.
Right, man. Right. Place, people, principles. Place, people, principles. He said a few good things at the end. He said that the globalists, quote unquote, the globalists are trying to remove you out of your place, take away the people, and take away your principles. I know he doesn't realize that this has already been done to the children of God, right? But he thinks that Americans are the children of God, so he thinks it's going to be happening to them, that they're going to be removed from their place. The people are going to be no more, and they're going to take away our principles, right? The second thing he said at the end there was, if you learn how to articulate those three concepts to whomever you're talking to, then you will start to see changes in your nation. That's three things that we struggle with as so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, or the children of God, the children of Israel, right? That's three things that we struggle with because we don't know anything about them. We don't know anything about being a people, a place, or having principles. That's why you see the so-called Black American into so many different things. One thing I can say about the so-called white man or the so-called Edomite, right, is that that in a census, they are all on one accord when it comes to religion. They all Christians. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about the American white guy, right? Most of them, the majority of them are Christians. Yeah, you got a lot of atheists, right? But the majority of them are Christians. They kind of got that down, right? They have a sense of pride about this land that they feel like their ancestors are buried in, which is crazy. It's bizarre to me. And then as a people, when you think about, when they think about and when others think about what a typical American looks like, they think about a white guy that over exaggerates and over articulates his which is crazy because in every representation of America, whether it be sports, whether it be, you know, pretty much anything, right? You have people of different ethnicities, but the so-called average American would be looked at as a white man or a white woman, right? But nonetheless,
to the brother of Iron Horn of Zion, man. Hope you doing good, King. I know you're doing good because I know University of Alabama just beat Georgia the other day, man. So, but you know, nonetheless, man, it's good to hear from y'all brothers, man. I was just literally talking about y'all, brother. I said, man, we gotta pull up to the brothers in Alabama. I said, man, that might be, the next move. Saw the servants last week, might have to pop up, But Khan Shalom.
Shalom. Go Dogs. Right. Nonetheless, man, we're going to get into this lesson because I did like some of the things he said. Those 2 points at the end is what we have to focus on. But the title of today's lesson is, what does it mean to be a nation? He said 3 things, right? Love y'all, brothers. We need to pull up ourselves. Khan. He said 3 things. He said, to be a nation, you have to have 3 things: a people, a place, and have principles, right? What do we know this as, right? I'm gonna pull it up. Now I had something else pulled up, but we gotta start off with the classic, man. I had it in here, but I didn't want to pull it first, but we got to, right? Let me see. I gotta share my screen too. Right, we use this on the street almost every week, man. Right, go ahead and read that for me.
Call the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies, and a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Right. So we know these things, these three things: a people, a place, and principles. Right. We describe those as being a what? A heritage. A heritage, right? And that's one thing that we have lost as the so-called Israelites, right? The Most High said that he was going to discontinue us from being a people, having a place, and having our principles, right? And he was going to cause us to serve our enemies in a land that we know it not, right? And we were succumb to serving their people, right, in their place, and serving and being subjective to their principles, right? But we're just gonna examine those three things: a people, a place, and principles, and a little bit how we lost all three, right? We're gonna start with place, right?
So man, the Most High God said he would make our remembrance to cease from among men.
Yeah.
He said that he would put all these curses on us until they have destroyed thee. Man, so the Most High God did this to us. The Most High God, was strategic in eliminating our remembrance. And it was so strategic that, he gave us a whole nother identity. So people didn't even question our old identity.
Con, right? In a lesson like this, man, brothers can't help but be in the spirit, a lesson like this, man, we go out and we teach this every week on what it means to be a nation and how we get our nation back. That, we all kind of got the same precepts to mind, but this is for the viewer. This is for the viewer that doesn't really know about how the Israelites was a nation and how we lost being a nation, right? And at the end, you're gonna find out what it's gonna have to take to become that nation again, to become a people again, to become a place again, and to have principles that we uphold, right? This is Deuteronomy 28:63. If you could start right here for me.
Deuteronomy 28:63. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you. And
right? A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize that, man. And it's a hard pill to swallow, right? But just like he was proud to brag about us, he'll be proud in punishing us as well. You know what I'm saying? You get what come with it. Keep reading.
Come on, man. Just imagine getting in a debate with a Christian scoffer and they pull this precept. What in the world? What you gonna do? And they say, what the Lord say to rejoice over to destroy you? Hey, that would be a clip farm. No cap. It says, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught, and ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Right, man. The land that we went to possess, right? The land that he gave us to possess, he was going to pluck us out of that. He's going to pluck us out of that. Let's go to the next verse real quick.
As Ecclesiastes says, a time to plant and a time to pluck up.
Right, or uproot.
Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all the people, among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods which thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
See that? We was gonna be scattered into other people's places, and we're gonna what? We're gonna serve other people, right? Not only that, we were gonna succumb to their principles and serve their gods as well. You see that? Let's see. Let's go to the book of Leviticus, right? Leviticus 26. And with these topics, man, the whole Bible is really off of this premise. So there's a plethora of scriptures. I only have a few for each point, but there's a plethora of scriptures that you can go into all of this, right?
Even on a minute scale, those three standards, right? Even on a minute level, will break a family, right? You start seeing less people show up or less people being born in a family, that family will dwindle. You know, if you don't got enough men in the family and everybody's having girls, you know, them girls gonna take on other last names. Next thing you know, the family is kind of, you know, dismantled. You lost the people. Then also the place. If people start selling their houses to people trying to buy their property and gentrification, you ain't got no home to go to no more. Nobody's thinking about meeting up at the homes no more. Guess what? That family is slowly starting to dwindle. And if you ain't got no principles as a family, everybody just doing what they want to do. You ain't got no morals, no moral code. You can't say, well, you a Johnson, boy. You a Whitfield, boy. We don't do that. You can't say that no more. That family's gonna be dismantled. So those same three standards, man, hold true even on a minute scale.
Con, man. Con. Leviticus 20, and it did the same thing in the Bible, man. You know, even when you go to the tribes had different customs even amongst themselves. All law supposed to be lawful, but you know, they had their own ways of doing things, right? Leviticus 26, chapter 26. I'm gonna open it up. We're gonna start at verse 27.
Leviticus 26 and verse 27. And the reason, and if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me.
This all started because we started walking contrary unto him. This all started because we stopped listening to him, right? And when you stop listening to him, bad things happen, right? In order to walk together, right, we can't walk contrary to the Most High, right? It's hypocritical, right? It's counterproductive. This is how it all started. Verse 28.
Verse 28. Then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury, and I, even I, will chastise you 7 times for your sins.
Keep reading.
And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. And I will destroy your high places and cut down your images and cast your carcasses.
Places. We're on place, right? He said he was going to destroy our high places, right? Keep reading. I'm sorry.
I will destroy your high places and cut down your images and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you.
Right, keep reading.
And I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors.
Right, he said he was going to make our cities waste and bring our sanctuaries unto desolation, right? Meaning no more standing. Verse 32.
Verse 32. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it.
Right. He's going to take you out of your land. You remember what he said? He said, if we take the Japanese people out of Japan and we put other people in Japan, right, would that still be the same place? But that's what has happened today, though, right? He has uprooted us from our land, put other people in there. Matter of fact, I'm going to get that real quick before I go too deep into a diatribe. Let's go to the book of Luke real quick. All right. We're going to go to Luke 21. And I believe 24, right? Go ahead.
Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right, man. We was led into other nations. We was taken up out of our land, Jerusalem. Right. And now our land is being trodden down by Gentiles or other nations. Right. And what they would have you believe is the same thing that the man said in the beginning of the video. When he said it out his own mouth. He said, if you take the people out the land and you put other people in that land, is it the same place? Is it the same nation? No, it is not. But that's what has happened to the Israelites. The Israelites have been removed. They have been replaced with Israelis, but they would want you to believe that it's the same nation as back in the ancient times, right? Because people nowadays, we only look at things at face value, what we can see today. And one thing he put emphasis on, right? He didn't say it out his mouth, but he put emphasis on is people migrations, People don't really want to worry about people migrations. We watched a video this past week, and people say Middle East, they have a certain image of what they think the Middle Eastern people look like, right? When you nowadays, when you talk about Egypt, people think of Muslims, right? Now we talked about Japan. Nowadays, when people think of the land of Japan, they think of Japanese people, right? Nowadays, when you think of America, you think of a white man, not the Native Americans, right? Which is crazy because they're still called Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? But they're not the forefront of your mind when you think about this nation.
Well, actually, they've been called Indians now.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Indians.
They say they've been called Indians because Christopher Columbus thought he was in India, so he called them Indians, and then he took the name American.
Right, man. But people migrations, man. Right? It's a big thing, and that's what has deceived the world today is people groups migrating. It's amazing what kind of type of number it will put on people's minds and how simple-minded people can be to not even think about, there was people there probably before today. What did they look like? People don't even think that far nowadays.
Or they don't even think, how long have my ancestors been here? Did my ancestors migrate here, or were they from here? They don't even ask that question.
Right. Because our people are so simple-minded, man, and we're so nearsighted too when it comes to history, right? And it shapes our whole worldview. That we was listening to people and they were saying, yeah, man, they said that Christ Jesus would be looking like olive skin, you know what I'm saying? Like the Italians, right? And yeah, he probably was darker, but he wasn't as dark as y'all. Says who? Because the way you were shaped to think he looked all your life, right? All your life, he was holding up this image and you can't stray away from it, right? And in the image that they held up was so contrary to the real thing that you can't even say that he was a dark-skinned man because it just doesn't sit right with your spirit for whatever reason. You might give him light skin. You give credit to the credit to the Muslims and the Palestinians by saying that he probably looked like them, right? Who are a mass majority in was it a controversial religion? What I'm saying is here, right? The so-called Christian and so-called white man, right? Today, they would rather say Jesus looks like somebody that's in a rivalry, a rival religion, than to say that he looks like somebody that's within their religion. We all know so-called Negroes is heavy on Christianity, but people won't even give them credit enough to say that he might look like them. They will go to another rival religion and say he probably looked like them, even knowing that Christ was a Jew. It's crazy stuff, man. But this is how much they hate the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? We'll go back to the classic. I know we started with it, but we're gonna revisit it again before we jump into our next thing. We just did place, how we lost our place. Now we're gonna see how we lost our principles, right? Again, what's that word that we use to describe that which contained our principle, right? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah again, chapter 17 and verse number 4.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse number 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Right.
So our heritage was taken from us. Another word for heritage not only contains our principle, but these are our customs, how we used to, what we used to eat, how we used to dress, what we used to celebrate, right? The things it was our custom, it was our heritage, right? The principles that we had upheld when it came to marriage and things like that. And so what are some of the examples of us noticing the fact that we lost our heritage within the book? Somebody might argue, I don't think y'all ever lost their heritage, right? The Israelites lost their heritage many times over and over and over again within the scriptures. Let's highlight two. The first one I'm gonna go to is in light of what we're celebrating right now, which is the Feast of Tabernacles. We're going to go to the book of Nehemiah, and we're going to go to chapter 8, starting, I think, at verse 14. Right? Let me hold up. We can start at verse 13. Nehemiah 8, we'll start at verse 13.
Nehemiah 8, starting at verse 13. And on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites, unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law.
Right, man. So they gathered each other together. They're just now trying to become a nation again. Right. If you go read the books of Ezra, or first and second Esdras, in the book of Ezra in the canon, you'll see the many trials and tribulations that they came through by trying to become a nation again, when they got their principles back. That's really where it starts, right? Is the principles. Getting your principles back, and everything should follow. Verse number 14.
Verse 14. And they found written in the law, which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month.
Right. So right now that's what we're doing. We're dwelling in booths, right? Tents, have you will, little tabernacles that we made, right? But what happened here is they didn't know that they should be doing this. Matter of fact, read verse 15.
And verse 15, and that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount, and fetch olive branches and pine branches and myrtle branches and palm branches and branches of thick trees, to make booths, as it is written.
Right, man. Read verse 17.
Verse 17. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths, and sat under the booths. For since the days of Jeshua, the son of Nun, unto that day had not the children of Israel done so. And there was very great gladness.
See, one thing that we have to understand is, we go on the street, a lot of randoms, they ask us questions like, well, what are y'all going to do? Y'all just out here preaching the Bible. What are y'all going to do? How are we going to get up out of this situation? See, when we give people the answer, which is, hey, we got to come back to our principles, right? To become a nation, you need what? People, place, and principles. We have to come back to our principles, right? Now people have a problem with the principles. Well, then obviously you guys don't want to get up out of here. What does it say right here? When they came to come up out of captivity, they had to make booths. Not only are they making booths, they found in the law where it's written, it was commanded to them to make booths, right? I.e., coming back to their principles. To come out of captivity, you have to keep the principles of your forefathers. Find out where they are, right? And start keeping them ASAP. They said as soon as they found them, they just got their book back. They just got their principles back. As soon as they found them, what did they do? They made sure it was published and proclaimed in all the cities. That way, nobody had an excuse. And one thing I can say, these Israelites today, I'm talking about the ones that know that they're Israelites. Hey, I don't know if there's a city that we're not in, proclaiming and publishing, right, our principles in this word of God, right? I don't know. So there's really no excuse. You know what I'm saying? There's really no excuse. Let's go to another scenario, right? Let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles. We're going to go to chapter 30. Really want verse 17. Yeah, we can start at verse 17. 2 Chronicles.
Verse 17. For there were many in the congregation that were not sanctified. Therefore the Levites had the change of the killing of the Passovers for every one that was not clean, to sanctify them unto the Lord.
Right. So right now, man, it's the same thing with King Hezekiah. Right. They finally got their book back, and Hezekiah is reading through it. He says, oh, snap. we got to keep the Feast of Passover, right? But there's one problem. Everybody's unclean. Everybody's supposed to be clean for the Passover feast, right? Keep reading.
For a multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim and Manasseh, Issachar, and Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves. Yet did they eat the Passover otherwise, that it was written. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, the good Lord pardon every one.
Right? Keep reading.
The good Lord pardon every one that prepareth his heart to seek God, the Lord God of his fathers, though he be not cleansed according to the purification of the sanctuary.
Keep reading.
And the Lord hearkened to Hezekiah and healed the people.
So that's one thing we got to do, man. We just came off of what? Not really a feast, but we came off of an observant called the atonement. That's us realizing we are unclean, and we're praying like Hezekiah for that the Lord pardon us as we try to make efforts in coming back to these principles, right? Same thing Hezekiah did right here, because once we find out that we're messed up in the head, we're messed up people, and we're unclean, we got to do something about it, right? We got to do something about it. Right, let's move on. So we covered principles. Now let's talk about being a people again, right? Being a people again. Let me see. I think it's right here. I forgot. I didn't. So I paraphrase these in my notes, man. I didn't write the actual precept down. So I'm just kind of shooting in the dark here. Right. Cool. Yeah, that's what I want. You can start at verse number 2.
Verse number 2. You know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led.
Right.
Wherefore,
that's cool right there. You know that you were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, right? Talking to is Paul talking to the Israelites, right? If you don't believe me, do your research, do your studying, right? Show yourself to be approved. This is Paul speaking to the Israelites. But he's talking about the Gentiles because the Israelites once were referred to as the Gentiles. Why? Because we were acting like Gentiles. We didn't know who we were. People didn't know who we were, right? We were acting as such as other people because we were not a people. A lot like today. Today, man, it's a lot of Mexican-ness, Jamaican-that, Haitian-ness. We don't know who we truly are. We got pride in being other people, right? We have pride in being everything but a people that's together, which is the Israelites, right? A lot of people, and look, a lot of people might get mad. A lot of people got pride in being a Haitian, pride in being a Mexican, pride in being Puerto Rican, pride of being American Black. News to you guys, those are all Gentiles, right? Those are all Gentile nations because they're not your nation. Your nation is the nation of Israel, right? But you are all referred to as these Gentiles because you were led by the dumb idols that you served, right? That uprooted you out of your land and took your principles and gave you new principles, right? A new flag, a new place to reside, a new cookbook, right? Let's go to Hosea, right? The book of Hosea, chapter 1, and I think it was earlier. Where was it? Con. Hosea 1:9. If you could read that for me.
Look at Hosea chapter 1 and verse 9. Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God.
This is God speaking to Hosea, telling him that the Israelites will no more be his people, and he will no longer be our God, right? He is taking our peopleship away from us. So if he's taking our peopleship away from us, we are no longer a people anymore, right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy real quick. The brother quoted it earlier. It's one of my favorite precepts to go to on the street, right? But we're gonna pull it up right here. Deuteronomy 32 and verse. I really forgot. We're gonna skim through it though. Salakia. Should have wrote it. I can't believe I didn't write these down, man. Okay, yeah. I got you. The classic, man. Right, the classic. Go ahead. You see it?
Deuteronomy 32 and 26. I said I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
Right, man. As a people, he has made us cease from among men. How do we explain this? Now, when you go fill out a job application, right? You see, are you Hispanic or not Hispanic? Right? Are you black? Are you an African American? Are you a white Caucasian American? Are you Native American? Right? And you see, this list goes on. But one thing you're not going to find on that list is an Israelite, right? You're not going to be able to click, oh, I'm an Israelite, even though they know we over here, but you don't, because the remembrance of us being a people has ceased from among men. We are no longer a people. We are no longer a people, right? So that's the three things, right? And how they were taken from us, and how you can conceptualize it today, right? How we're no longer a people, no longer a place, and we don't have our own sets of principles that we uphold, right? Now, the solution, right? The solution. Let me stay in the book of Deuteronomy, right? We're going to go to 10 and we're going to go to verse 12. Right? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul.
Comment. I just want to point out right here. It says, now Israel. This video is for you so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, right? Most, generally speaking, right? I know we were scattered to the four corners of the earth, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, so-called you, right? Now that you know that you're an Israelite, you're not Black, you're not Hispanic, you're not Native American, right? That you're a people. No more divide and conquer. You're all the same people, right? Now that you know you're Israel, these are the things you must do. You must fear the Lord thy God, right? Keep reading.
To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
You have to keep the commandments of God. These are your principles. It all starts with your principles. You start keeping you repent, you pray, you ask forgiveness, and then you start keeping your principles again. Then you start loving your neighbor again, which is your brother, right? Your fellow Israelite man. Don't argue with me. That's what the Bible talks about, right? Then you start, after you receive your principles, then you become a people again, right? And then you start making headway to go get your land, right? And it says, which I command thee today for thy good. These commandments was made for our good, right? I encourage you to go read the whole book of Deuteronomy chapter 10. We're just going to read those two verses for right now. But I encourage you to go read the whole chapter of 10 of Deuteronomy chapter 10 to really know what you have to do coming back to this truth, coming back to your heritage, right? Coming back to you being a nation. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah really quick, right? Nehemiah chapter 1, I believe. We're going to start at verse number 6.
Right. Nehemiah chapter 1, starting at verse number 6. Let thine ear now be attentive and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned.
Right? You have to confess, man. Understand that you're unclean. Understand that you've been going wrong, and that that you want to do better. Right? Keep reading.
Nehemiah 1:7. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments which thou commandest thy servants Moses.
Right? It all starts with the principles. It starts with the principles. Go ahead.
Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations.
All right. Last verse.
But if ye turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the uttermost part of the heaven, yet will I gather them from thence, and I will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there.
So what's happening? What's happening? He says, if you return to him, meaning what? I.e., return to his principles, the principles you're supposed to uphold, then he will what? He will gather them. Who's the them? The people. You will be. So you start keeping the principles, then he gathers you as a people. Now you're a people again. Then he says what? And will bring them, the people that's keeping these principles, unto the place that he has chosen to set to put his name there, right? So now you get, it starts with the principles. You keep the principles, you become a people. Now he can put you back in the place that you're supposed to be at, because now everything's set back in order, right? One thing I will say is a lot of Israelites that are in the truth, right? We kind of have our order kind of backwards. Some people kind of focus on the people out of everything. Some people kind of focus on getting back to the land, right? But it's not too many focusing on really the principles, right? We got a lot of people that proclaim the principles, but in their actions is far from the Most High, and a lot of times it's within closed doors, right? I got two more precepts, right? We're going to go to the book of Revelation. What's this going to look like, right? What is this going to look like? Revelation chapter 21 and verse number 2. Right? Go ahead and read that.
Revelation 21:2. And John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Right, man. It looks like New Jerusalem, right? It looks glorious when this happens. We're going to go to the classic where we tell everybody what we're looking for, what's going to happen. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14. This is a book that who you call Jesus quoted all the time. We're going to start at verse 1. Some good stuff in Isaiah chapter 14, right? Go ahead.
Book of Isaiah chapter 14, starting at verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right. He's going to have mercy on us because we came back to our principles, right? He's going to choose us again as a people, and he's going to set us in our own land, right? Keep reading.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
That's the sweetest part, man. We're going to rule over those, right, that caused us, right? I mean, we did it to ourselves, but the ones that further the affliction to cause us to neglect our principles, right? To not know who we are, to divide and conquer us, right? To take over our land, to assume it as theirs, right? We're going to rule over those oppressors in righteousness, though, in righteousness. Verse number 3, last precept.
Verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that
Right.
thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
Right, man. So he's gonna remove the sorrow that we've been in, right? One would have you believe that the Americans, right, the American nation is in sorrow. Well, I'm here to tell you that the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in the Americas have been sorrowful for a minute, way before the so-called white man or the average American today started witnessing these sorrows. Why? Because we were forced with hard bondage, where we were made to serve and submit to people that was not us, right? To principles that were not ours, and a place that we were never supposed to be in, right? He called this place a place where no man dwelt. We were never supposed to be here. We were supposed to be where he set us back in Jerusalem, right? And that's all I got today. People, place, and principles. What does it mean to be a nation? It takes all three. All right, you got anything else?
Come, man, much needed, much edifying. And, for our people, we go on a street corner and ask all the time, hey, what nation are you from, brother? Oh, I'm American. What's your nationality? Oh, I'm African American, right? We got to understand that, one, there's too many people in this nation for us to be one nation. We're more like an empire. Two, this land, right, has been divided, has been conquered.
He's speaking about America, by the way.
Bloodshed, all of that, right? People have been moved. So you can't just make this your land. And three, there are no principles really for real here, right? Everybody kind of does what they want to do, right? And the scary part about everybody here thinking that they are one nation, and the nation is America, is that, we got people thinking you're going to get raptured, and thinking, you got people thinking that God is really worried about, the American people and the American country. Nowhere in the Bible does God talk about America. I'm going to save America. I love Americans. Like nowhere in the Bible does it say that, right? He explicitly tells us what nation of people, what principles he wants that nation of people to have, and what land that people are supposed to be in. And the world will continue to be in chaos until all of that's back in order. But
man. Mighty, man. Stop tying them Haitian flags around your head, them Mexican flags around your heads, right? We talk about all the time, because y'all wouldn't like it if the American blacks started tying American flags around their heads, right? Then we'd be cooned out, right? Well, brother, I'm here to tell you, you guys are cooned out if you do that stuff too. That is not your place of residence. That's not your place of rest. Don't be proud in it. We got a place to get back to, right? Don't allow them to think that you're proud of it, right? Sometimes it gets hard, man. We're a competitive people. I understand, right? Sometimes it gets hard.
We're a proud people too at that.
We're a proud people too, but sometimes that can be our crutch and can hold us back from getting to where we need to get to. Understand that we're all one and the same, and that we need to come together, right? And when they use the tool that he labeled us to keep us separated subconsciously. Now people are proud to say that, yeah, we're the land of wood and water. Yeah, we're the port of riches, right? Yeah, we're a mighty cornfield, right? You're more than that, right? You're the nation of Israel. You have a place. You have principles. It's time to return and keep them and become a people again, right? Without further ado, man, we give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of his only begotten Son, who's an instrument of salvation, who you guys might call Jesus Christ, who we kind of recognize as Yahushua, right, in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. Hope this was edifying. Hope it wasn't too long. Y'all stay tuned. We should be back on tomorrow, Lord willing. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. We say shalom.